Buenos dias, mi amigos. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another opportunity, a beautiful day, another opportunity to make dreams happen, to make stuff happen. Today, I want to talk to the athletes. And, specifically younger athletes who know they're talented, know they can be good, but they're stuck. They don't seem to put it together. Something feels off. Maybe you think your coach is terrible. Maybe your teammates are selfish according to you. Maybe everything's unfair and you don't get the playing time you deserve. I've been through all this, and it took me a while to realize that talent is not everything. Talent only gets you so far. I've played with some of the most talented guys I've ever seen, and they didn't even make it D1. In high school, I played with this dude who should be in the NBA right now, and he didn't make it D1 because his attitude was so bad, because his attitude was so poor. He didn't know how to manage his emotions. He was very talented, maybe the most talented man I've ever seen, and he didn't make it D1. When you have guys like Juan Toscano Anderson, for example, take him. He was, I don't think he's in the NBA right now, but he was for at least 5 years. I think has a couple rings, and he's not that talented. He's a great player. He's an amazing defender. He's a locker room guy. He's a great teammate, but there's guys more talented than him. Take a look at Derek White. Why did he make the Team USA last summer over Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown's the better basketball player, but that doesn't mean he was the better fit for the team. Jaylen Brown's much more talented and still didn't make it because Derek White knows something and can help in ways that Jaylen Brown can't. It all starts with the mind. You can think you're a good basketball player. You could think you're a good soccer player. You think you're a good fighter. But how strong is your mind? Okay, talent only takes you so far. Let me give a quick background on my story. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington on the West Coast. Two decent athletic cities. Decent. Not on the levels of, Dallas. Not on the levels of Alabama and Georgia. But decent athletics. And I was good, naturally. I was bigger, faster, stronger than the guys I was playing against. I was just naturally better. And so I thought that was going to be my whole life. I was good without having to practice when I was young. I could do what I want on the football field, on the baseball field, on the basketball court without having to practice. While other people I saw, other kids were practicing a lot, much harder than me, and I was still better than them. So how do you think my mindset was? This is easy. I'm just made for this. This is going to be my whole life. I'm going to be in the NBA, and I'm still not going to have to work that hard. So that was my mindset growing up. And, it worked. I was good. I was good without having to practice until about 14, I would say, maybe around the 8th grade, when everybody started growing and catching up to me. I haven't grown since 7th grade. I was already 6'2". And so I had a big advantage. And I thought that would carry over, but it didn't. Because when other people started catching up height-wise, athleticism-wise, and they had been working harder for the last 10 years than I had, they exploded by me. And that was only 8th grade. Once I get to a freshman in high school, there was even more of a drop-off. Once I got to a junior in high school, I knew that I didn't have a future in sports because I took the easy route. I thought I never had to practice. I thought talent alone would get me somewhere. And I had a terrible attitude, didn't know how to work, thought everything was just going to be handed to me. And so my sports career, which I thought I'd be doing my whole life, or at least have a professional career, was cut off in the blink of an eye. How can you not make the same mistakes that I made? I don't care if you're 8 years old watching this, or if you're a parent and you have younger sons or daughters who are getting started with athletics. You might be 13 and about to enter high school. You might be a high school senior with Division I offers, but you want to take it to the next level. It's not about the athleticism. It's not about how well you can shoot. Everybody can shoot at the next level. It's not about how hard you can hit. Everybody can hit at the next level. It's about your mind. Can you go one more rep? Can you go one more play when everybody else is around you is quitting? Can you do one more? Can you get benched, not complain, work hard, and get yourself back in the lineup? Because I know I couldn't. I know a lot of guys couldn't. I know a lot of talented athletes, Division I, who can't do that. They get benched and they're transferring in their names in the portal the next day. Soft. Sorry. And that doesn't have to be you. These guys could be more talented than you. They could have more natural athleticism. But if your mind is in the right place, you'll blow past them. It might take a while. I was good for a while, and then it took these guys a long time to catch up to me. But once they did, they exploded by me. I had a couple friends I was just as good at, if not better than, in baseball growing up. And now one's the number one prospect for the Phillies. One's one of the better prospects for the Rangers. A couple of my friends are still playing Division I basketball. A couple of my friends are in the G League, in the NBA. And I was just as good as most of them. And look how we turned out. I'm grateful for everything that happened in my life because it made me who I am today. But there was a couple things that I could have done to still be playing right now. Work on your mind. If you're 8 years old, if you're 10 years old, 13 right now, nobody is thinking about the mind. They're only thinking about how good can I shoot? How are my handles? How's my wind up? But if you focus on the mind, you'll add on top of that. The things that you need to have are a growth mindset. If somebody critiques you, if somebody is telling you what to do and they're in the position that you want to be in, you have to listen. You have to listen. Me, I had a closed mind. I couldn't listen to anybody. If somebody told me what to do, told me to go practice after my practice, I would think they were crazy. And I would start laughing at them and probably get kicked out of practice for being disrespectful. But if you can get it through your head, that mindset and how you see things, how you operate, how you go on the day-to-day, that's what's going to get you to the next level. Go look at Jared McCain's YouTube. He had been training like a pro from an early age. He was doing professional workouts. He was meditating. He was journaling. He knew the power. That's, what is he, 6'2" maybe? 6'2", zesty, and is killing it in the NBA. Had an unfortunate injury. But that's an example of a guy that's natural athleticism probably wouldn't have got him to the NBA. Probably not at all. But he had been training like a pro. He had been willing to get up before school. He had been willing to practice after practice. He had been willing to invest in himself, get the best trainers who knew how to get him to the level. He had been willing to meditate, been willing to read, willing to learn. And now he was on pace to be Rookie of the Year before his injury as a 6'2", not so athletic hooper, zesty hooper. Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. So, for example, if you get benched, that's a perfect example to test the mindset. If you don't want to go to practice, maybe you went to practice and now you have a training session with a one-on-one trainer later and you don't want to go, you want to skip it. I would have skipped it. And what happened to me? I turned out to be a bad athlete. So you should not skip. If you can get it through your head that the work that you do, the extra work, the extra reps, the one more reps that you're doing every day, that's what's adding up over time because other people aren't doing this. That's what you have to understand. There's very few athletes, whether you're 8 years old, 10, 15, 19, and maybe you're already a D1 athlete and you're grinding and you're doing everything physical that you have to do. The mind can get you to that next level. Reading, studying, meditating, sitting with your thoughts, understanding who you are and the role that you play and the player that you plan on to become. That's how you get to the next level. Talent can only get you so far. Talent alone most likely won't get you D1 unless you're 7 foot with a 40-inch vert. Somto Surreal from Georgia. If you're a specimen like that, yeah, you're going D1. But Santo Cyril, or whatever his name is, if he wants to get to that next level, he's got a lot of work to do. He's probably got to work on his mind. It all starts with the mind. Every basketball game, you have 50 opportunities to test your mental. If you miss 2 threes in a row, are you complaining? Is your head down? Are you thinking you're never going to shoot again? Or do you have that shooter's mentality that says, I've missed 2 in a row. That means the next one has to go in based on my percentages. If I'm a 40% three-point shooter and I just missed 2 in a row, I got to hit the next one, and then I'm a 33% shooter on the day. The shooter's attitude, the shooter's mentality always thinks the next one's going in, no matter if he's 0 for 10. And that's where you got to get to. But that only happens through work, through repetition, through confidence, through a positive mind, which most people do not have. Most people think it's nonsense to work on the positive mind. Most people, if you tell you're working on your mindset, will start laughing at you. And that's exactly why most people aren't successful. Most people are not successful, okay? So study the greats. Study the greats. They all invest in themselves. They all take time to sit in silence. They all have trainers on top of their trainers. They have mental trainers. They have discipline trainers. They have their mobility trainers. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and understand the power of the mind is what will get you to play in varsity basketball, varsity sports. The power of the mind is what will get you to D1. With NIL now, that's a great business model. But you gotta understand the power of the mind. The Derek White reference that I used. He understood how to play a role. He understood that he wasn't going to be the guy on the team. He understood that on the Celtics, he's not the guy, but he plays a very important role. And on USA, he's going to even have a lesser offensive role, but maybe a more important role. Because when you put a bunch of stars together who think they need the ball, you need a guy who's selfless. You need a guy who knows exactly what he's there to do. And that's Derek White. That's Drew Holiday. That's these guys that athleticism-wise, talent-wise, you're thinking, how are they in the NBA? Juan Toscano-Anderson. But the work that they've done on themselves, on their game, and more importantly, their mind and how they approach every day is what got them to the next level. It's the same with life. The only thing that gets you to the next level is your mind and the work that you do. So for my young athletes, I can't stress it enough how important it is to get through your head that you will only go how far your mind allows you to. Don't complain, never blame anybody. You're the reason that you're not playing right now. You're the reason that you haven't been successful. So you got to get to work and you got to approach every day like it's a business, because like I just said, NIL, name, image, and likeness, in college athletics now, which is trickling down into high school athletics, is a wonderful business model. And you can only get there with the positive mindset, with the right frame of mind, and you got to understand what it takes, because it takes a lot. But if you're willing to do a lot, if you're willing to grow every day, even though there's more talented guys around you, you're going to succeed. Let me know how else I can help. It was a privilege. Don't make the same mistakes that I did. I was talented and never made anything out of it sports-wise. I want you to flip the script. If you're not, you don't think you're talented, you don't think you're made for greatness, this can change everything. Love you guys.